dress for my birthday, but oh, that is an everlasting time to
I'm
wait.
sure this dress looks like silk, Meg. It's really as good as new, and you look awfully nice in it.
Here's a lace handkerchief I said you might borrow. But do be careful with it, for it's the very bestest one I have.
Thank you, Amy.
You're not going to the party like that, are you?
Oh, no, of course not. Joe's going to pinch the curls in the hot tongs for me in a moment. Curls on the forehead are all the fashion this season, you know.
Oh, that. Won't it be wonderful when you're finally old enough to go to evening parties, too?
Oh, where is Joe? It is past 7 o'clock already, and the last time I saw her, she hadn't even begun to dress. I don't think she likes parties very much.
She says she hates being all dressed up and on her best behavior. She'd much rather settle down with a book and a bag of apples up in her attic.
Amy, do go upstairs and see how she's getting on. It would never do for us to be late. There. There? How do I look?
A real belle.
Let's see. Oh, yes, these curls will set it off nicely. Oh, and Marmy's pearl brooch really does give the bodice a very aristocratic air. She is a dear to lend it to me. Oh, and don't my new slippers look lovely?
Yes, but are they comfortable?
Well, they pinch a little when I walk. But I assume that will wear off soon enough. And anyhow, I don't have any others that go so well with this dress.
Joe's coming. And I got the curling tongs.
Oh, good. Pinching the curls into place won't take but a moment, and then I shall feel the very height of fashion.
Oh, Meg, you look really elegant. And I am sure that none of the other girls at the party will look any more fine than you.
Oh, I'm so glad you think that.
Meg! It's so long since I put on this dress that I had completely forgotten all about the bird at the back.
Oh.
Whatever shall I do? It shows badly and I can't get any of it out.
Oh, Joe, why will you stand in front of the fire like a man? This isn't your first dress and you've scorched and spoiled by doing so. Well, you've nothing else to wear, so you'll have to wear that, I suppose. Though what the gardeners will think, I just don't know.
I shall just have to keep still and keep my back out of sight. The front is all right anyway.
Where are your gloves, Joe?
I'm afraid that they're still stained with the lemonade I got on them at the last party. They're so expensive, I couldn't ask Marmy for new ones. So we'll just go without.
Oh,
Yes.
Joe, you really are the most provoking girl. You must have gloves. Gloves are the most important thing, and you must have them.
Meg's right. A real lady is always known by her neat boots, her gloves, and her handkerchief.
Of course, you must have them. If you don't, I won't go. I would be so mortified if you went without them.
Then I will stay where I am.
Oh,
Joe.
Joe.
You mustn't spoil the evening like that. Can't you make your clothes do if they are soiled?
Well, I suppose I can hold them crumpled up in my hands and no one sees how stained they are. No, I'll tell you how we'll manage. We'll each wear one good one and carry one bad one.
Your hands are much bigger than mine, and you will stretch my glove dreadfully.
And then I'll go without and I don't care what people say.
Oh. You may have it. You may. Only please don't stain it. Now, you will behave nicely, won't you, Joe? You won't stare or yell Christopher Columbus at the top of your voice.
Meg, it's only a party at Mrs. Gardner's. We're not going to meet President Lincoln. Now, let's get your curls done. Don't worry about me. I'll be as prim as I can. And laugh into any scrapes if I can help it. But if you do see me doing anything wrong, then remind me with a wink, will you?
I shall do no such thing. Winking is not at all ladylike. I shall lift my eyebrows if anything is wrong, and nod if you're all right. Now, when we get there, Joe, do hold your shoulders straight and take short steps. Oh, and don't shake hands if introduced. Oh, smoke like that?
It's the dampness drying, that's all.
What a queer smell. It's just like bird feathers.
Oh, I expect it's the scorched paper.
There. Now, I will remove the papers, and you will see a cloud of little ringlets.
What have you done? Ruined, I can't go. Oh, my hair. Oh, my hair.
Well, girls, are you ready? It's getting late.
Oh, Mother, look at my hair. It is spoiled and I can't go like this. Joe! Oh, how could you?
Sorry, Meg, I am really. The tongs must have been too hot. No, you shouldn't have asked me to do it. I always spoil everything. Oh, what a blunderbuss I am.
Oh, it serves me right for trying to be too fine. Oh, I wish I had just let my hair alone.
What a shame. It was so smooth and pretty.
Oh, now dry your tears. It's not so bad as you think. Pass me that comb, please, Amy. Thank you. Now, if we just comb these strands forward and then back, it will look nice and neat and tidy. And then we'll do the same on the other side, and nothing will seem amiss.
Marmy's right, and it will look quite fashionable too. I've seen many girls do it so.
Oh. Thank you so much. Oh, whatever would we do without you?
Help one another. Even more than you do now, I expect. Now, let me see these two fine young ladies of fashion. Yes, I think you will do quite nicely. Now, it's your turn off to enjoy your evening before there are any more disasters. Don't eat too much supper, and come away at 11 when I send Hannah for you.
Yes, Marmy.
Give my kind regards to Mrs. Gardner and her girls.
We will, Marmy.
Have a good time, girls. Oh, have you both got nice pocket handkerchiefs?
Yes, Marmy, thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Mother. Goodbye, Amy. Goodbye, Beth.
I wish I were going as well. I do envy them.
Oh, never mind, dear. Your turn will come, and then you will be going to lots of parties. I do hope they enjoy themselves this evening. I am afraid that those high-heeled slippers of Meg's are too tight for her real comfort, but she's too delighted in them to admit it. Take these things upstairs, dears, and then I think that you should be getting ready for bed. Oh, my dears, don't look so forlorn. There's a little consolation treat waiting for you upstairs. I made some of your favorite cookies and I put them up there with some fresh milk.
How
Thank
lovely,
you, Marmy.
Marmy.
That
Thank
was
you.
kind.
Joe, dear, why are you home so early? Hannah wasn't coming for another hour.
It's nothing to worry about, Marmy, so don't get into a fret. Meg turned her ankle while she was dancing. I think it was those new slippers that did it. And then Lori suggested that, yeah, Mr. Lawrence. He was at the party with his tutor, Mr. Brooke, and he said he would take us home in his carriage. Wasn't that splendid of him?
Where are they now, dear?
Outside helping Meg out of the carriage. I came on ahead to tell you what had happened.
Go ask them to come in, dear. Oh, good evening, Mr. Lawrence. It is good of you to help in this way. Come, Meg, over to the sofa so we can put your foot up and see what damage has been done. Oh, there. That's better.
May I present to you my friend and tutor, Mr. John Brooke, Mrs. March.
Good evening, Mr. Brooke. I'm afraid this little catastrophe has rather cut short the evening for you and Mr. Lawrence.
Not at all, Mrs. Marsh. We usually leave early, don't we, Lori? Mr. Lawrence is like his grandson out too late.
Besides, it is raining terribly outside, and poor Miss Meg would have been soaked if she had to limp all the way home.
Hasn't been much damage done yet.
I don't think that there are any broken bones, thank goodness. It is just a nasty sprain. You will have to rest for a few days, Meg.
That is a relief. We were afraid it might be something much more serious, weren't we, Miss Joe?
Christopher Columbus! Why are we so formal all of a sudden? We were getting on so splendidly at the party when it was Meg and Lori and Joe then. Oh, there's no use raising your eyebrows at that, Meg. I said I'd be on my best behavior at the gardeners. But I'm home now. And I've had quite enough prudence and propriety for one evening.
You mustn't be too shocked by Joe. She's a firm believer in speaking her own mind, especially in her own home. But you must feel at home here too. And Joe won't let you stand on ceremony for long.
Thank you, Mrs. March. I wish that you'd call me Lori as well.
Why, of course I will. Now, this ankle needs attention without any further delay. Joe, dear, while I'm going to get things for her, will you please offer our guests a glass of wine? Please sit down and make yourselves comfortable.
This is very hospitable of your mother, but I'm afraid we intrude.
Oh, not at all, Mr. Brooke. Mother likes company. And it would be inhospitable to let you go without refreshment after the kind way in which you helped us this evening.
Besides, we're neighbors. So you needn't think you'd be a bother. We want to get to know you, and I've been trying to do it this ever so long.
Your speedy recovery, Miss Marsh.
Thank you, Mr. Brooke. My ankle feels easier already.
Now tell me, are you really called Lori Lawrence? It's not a mouthful of a name.
No, my first name is Theodore, but I don't like it for the fellows called me Dora, so I made them call me Lori instead.
I hate my name too. Josephine is so sentimental. I wish everyone would call me Joe instead. My Aunt Marge, who I'm with every day, will call me Josephine. Tell me, how did you get the boys to stop calling you Dora?
Well, I thrashed them.
Well, I suppose I can't very well thrash Aunt Marge, so I'll have to bear it.
Is this your father?
Yes, that's Father. There's a much better portrait in the dining room than Amy did. The nose is a little funny, but it's so nice to have a piece of him when he's so far away. We miss him so, so much.
Is Lori always a good pupil, Mr. Brooke?
Perhaps not always, Miss Marsh. He doesn't always apply himself as one should. But it's very rewarding when he does, and one begins to see the fruit of one's work.
I teach also, but I must admit I don't really enjoy it. I only wish I liked it as much as you obviously do.
I think you would if Lori is a pupil. He's particularly good at languages. His French is quite fluent. We're now working hard at his German.
Oh, German? You're teaching him German?
Why, yes. Do you speak it?
No. That is, my father was teaching me before he went away, and though I try to practice myself, I'm afraid I don't get on very fast, for I have no one to correct my pronunciation.
Then perhaps you will allow me.
Oh, no. No, I could not bother you to. That is not what I
No,
meant when I
of course
said.
not. I quite understand. But if you will allow me, I'll have a word with your mother and see what can be arranged.
That is very kind, Mr. Brooke.
Not at all. It would be a great pleasure to lose my assistance.
You are very happy with Lori and old Mr. Lawrence?
Indeed, yes. I shall be very sorry to leave them when Lori goes to college in a year or so.
And what will become of you then?
Well, I have no family now. So I think if the war is still on, I shall turn soldier.
I'm sure Lori and Mr. Lawrence will regret the parting as much as you do.
Mine will be the greater loss of me. But I'm beginning to realize what a very charming lady is.
I've been longer than I expected. We were looking everywhere for this bottle of arnica, which is so good for sprains. For reasons best known to itself, it was in the larder among the jars of pickles.
I must bid you good night, Mrs. Marsh. You have much to do, I'm sure. Thank you again for your hospitality. Are you ready, Lori?
Splendid portrait.
Good night, Mr. Brooke. Good night, Lori. We're looking forward to to you and your grandfather taking tea with us tomorrow. I was so pleased when he replied to my note and said that he would come. Thank you again for bringing Meg home. Will you excuse me if I don't see you to the door? This ankle needs binding without any more delay. Joe will see you out.
Wonderful evening, Miss May.
Marmy, may we please come down and hear about the party?
Beth, I thought that you were asleep hours ago.
We were so excited, we just lay awake talking, and then we heard the carriage arriving.
And then we crept out onto the landing, but didn't dare come down, though we heard everything.
It was very naughty of you eavesdropping. And Amy, dear, do take the clothes peg off your nose.
But Marmy, you know that I always sleep with it on, and it ruins the shape of my nose. It really isn't.
Well, here you are, pets. We'll bring you some bonbons as a little treat.
Joe, where did you get bonbons?
You didn't take them from the supper table.
Yes. I don't think anybody saw me.
Well, how can you be sure? What if the Gardners had seen you, or Lori, or Mr. Brooke?
Lori would just laugh, and what has it to do with Mr. Brooke?
Well, he would think us very ill-mannered young ladies.
Oh, stop.
Tell us about the party. Please tell us about the party.
We had a capital time. Meg danced nearly every dance until she hurt her ankle.
Didn't you dance, Joe?
Oh, I'm not so very fond of dancing. And anyway, I was trying to hide the burn on my skirt. I was sitting in a little alcove, enjoying myself no end, watching everyone else. When Lori came up and asked if I would dance with him. He looked so hurt and disappointed when I refused. And as I couldn't think of any other excuse on the spur of the moment, I told him the truth.
You told him about the burn?
Yes, why not? He thought it was a great lark and we laughed no end. So we sat and talked, and then, just before supper, Meg was dancing with a red-haired youth.
His hair was auburn, not red, and he was a very polite, well-mannered gentleman.
He looked like a grasshopper in a fin. Lord, I couldn't help laughing. Didn't you hear us?
No, thank goodness, that was very rude of you. Well, it was then that I turned my ankle, and Lori and Mr. Brooke came to my aid.
And I heard Mr. Brooke call the auburn-haired gentleman a careless fellow for dancing too fast and not looking about him.
Did he? It was then that we had supper, during which Joe managed to spill coffee all over my one good glove. And then Lori offered to drive us home.
And home we came in a closed carriage, feeling very festive and elegant.
Well, my girls, I hope this taste of high life won't spoil you for your modest existence here at home.
No, Marmy, I don't think fine ladies enjoy themselves one bit more than we do. In spite of our burnt hair, old gowns, odd gloves, and tight slippers that sprain our ankles when we're silly enough to wear them.
Now, you two, to bed at once. And no more getting up, please. I shall be out to tuck you in a minute. Once again. Come, Meg, let us try your weight on this ankle and see if it's any better with the binding.
Much better, Marmy.
Still, I think a cold compress is wise.
He's got very handsome brown eyes, hasn't he, Joe?
Lori's eyes are blue.
No, I mean Mr. Brooke.
Christopher Columbus!
Another cup of tea, Mr. Lawrence?
No, thank you, ma'am. I have had a pleasant sufficiency here. What a delightful visit this has been. It was good of you to receive me.
It's been a special treat for me to meet you again after so long a time. My father always spoke of you with great affection.
We were close friends and spent much time together until fate sent us our different ways. Just think, I knew you as a little girl and now you have 4 daughters of your own. You know perhaps that I had 2 children and lost them both.
I believe that you have endured great heartache.
My little daughter died of fever when she was about the age of your youngest girl, and I have never quite reconciled myself to that loss. But as to my son, when he was 20, he met a young Italian lady. She was lovely and good and in all ways accomplished. Indeed, there was nothing against her except an old man's prejudice. They fell deeply in love and wished to marry, but I had other plans for my son and strongly opposed such an alliance. I should have known better, but stubborn pride would have its way. Within a month, they were wed. Does that surprise you greatly, ma'am?
Not really.
My son had never been strong. His lungs, you know, he needed a warmer climate, so they went to live in Italy. I declined to have anything to do with them, even to see them before they left. I never had the chance to see either of them again. She, poor lady, died in giving birth to Laurie. And 2 months later, my son was laid to rest beside her.
Oh, I am so sorry. What a terrible loss for you.
I realized too late just what I had lost. Oh, pride is a great sin, ma'am. There was only one thing left for me to do. I fetched my grandson home from Italy and have devoted whatever is left of my life to giving him the same upbringing and education that his father had.
I am sure that you've only had the boy's welfare at heart. But if you will forgive me, I feel the boy is left too much on his own. He is young, Mr. Lawrence, and so full of life. He needs young society, a measure of amusement and helpful exercise.
I suspected you were right, ma'am. If I am inclined to keep him too much with me and con him, it is only because I remember the loss of the others.
That is understandable, but he will study harder and grow stronger for a little recreation among young people of his own age.
On your own head be it, Mrs. Marsh, for your young daughters are the nearest young company, and he has already declared that the Marches are regular, splendid girls. I will send him to play you whenever he tires of his studies.
Oh, I shall be very pleased to see him, and I know the girls will make him most welcome. Jo will be delighted. She finds it hard enough to resign herself to being a girl, and is always deploring the lack of a brother. You saw how anxious she was to get through tea after Laurie had so kindly suggested showing her the horses in your stable. I am afraid that sometimes Jo's amusements and enthusiasms make her a little forgetful of her manners.
Oh, not at all. I like to see enthusiasm in the young. Besides, their running off to see the horses has enabled us to talk more freely about old times. And nothing bores the young quicker than that. But where are your other daughters? I should like to meet them as well.
Oh, Amy and Beth have been taking tea with Meg in the dining room. Her ankle was rather swollen after that little misadventure of last evening, and I thought rest would do it good.
Quite so. I'm glad Laurie and Brooke were at hand to be of assistance.
If you would like to come, Mr. Lawrence, I should very much like for you to meet them. To be quite frank, Beth is very shy of meeting you. I think that is why they asked leave to take their tea, for Amy too declares that she would rather not come without the others.
Afraid of meeting me? Dear me. We must do something to set that right. But let me think. Isn't Beth the one I hear playing the piano sometimes when I pass the house?
Oh yes, she plays quite well, really. Although I am afraid that on that piano in her room, not all the notes are true.
I told you after race day, I always win! No. The tea party seems to be over. Your grandfather must have got home already. I expect to be missed him by coming around the other side. Oh, good! There's still some Hannah's fruitcake left. I am ready for another piece after our walk. Would you like some? Fine. Well, absolutely splendid stable your grandfather had. I don't know which horse I like best.
Yes, they are rather fine, aren't they? Grandpa has always loved horses. He used to ride a very great deal when he was younger. He only goes out in the carriage now, though.
We enjoyed our drive home last night and thought ourselves very elegant. Oh, that reminds me. Did you happen to find a glove in the carriage? Only in all the excitement, Meg dropped one of hers, and as it was her only good one.
Has she only one good one?
No, but you see, she let me one of hers, but I managed to get coffee all over it. And I left her one of mine that was steamed with lemonade, and she didn't wear that one. Oh well, never mind. It's all rather too involved to explain. But if the glove does turn out it belongs to Meg.
Well, if it is to be found, then I shall recover it.
Sorry to bother you, but as she's staying in today, she has nothing better to do than fret about things like that. How about a piece of cake? It's good, isn't it? You know, Lori, it's a funny thing, but I thought I was going to be afraid of your grandfather. He looks very austere and forbidding. Look at his kind eyes. Though his mouth is grim. And he looks as though he has a tremendous will of his own. Mind you, I don't think he's as handsome as my grandfather, but I like him all the same. Well, yes, where I mean he is.
So, you are not afraid of me after all, eh?
Not much.
But you don't think me as handsome as your grandfather, eh?
Not quite, sir.
And I have a tremendous will of my own, have I?
I only said I thought so.
And I look austere and forbidding, do I?
Just a little, sir.
But you like me in spite of it all?
Yes, I do, sir.
Capital! You have your grandfather's spirit, even if you haven't his face. Now, Mrs. March, here is one of your daughters who is not afraid of me, and even approves with reservation. Now, ma'am, we must make our adieux. Come, Laurie, we must overstay our welcome in this hospitable home. Goodbye, Mrs. March, and again, thank you for receiving me. I hope we shall be seeing more of each other.
Mr. John Brooke.
Ah, Brooke, have you come to collect your pupil?
No, sir. I was passing and thought I would call to inquire after Miss March.
My, Mrs. March. I dare say you and your young ladies have taken my entire household by storm. What's that? And flowers, too. Bless me, such gallantry.
Mr. Nosegate to cheer up the invalid, Mrs. March. That's all.
It's very sweet of you. I shall just see Mr. Lawrence out, and then I will be with you. Make yourself at home.
I shall have a thorough